Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well. When the Ukrainians are reporting that the Russians are conducting offensive operations, that means that things are really bad for the Ukrainians. Why? For the reason I mentioned each and every time, which is when I'm fighting you, I will overemphasize and inflate my successes and diminish your successes, or overemphasize your losses and again diminish my or minimize my losses. That's the way it goes. So in this case we have this article, if you can believe, and you can because I'm gonna read it for you, from a Ukrainian media outlet stating that Russian army carries out offensive operations only on Bakhmut and Avdiivka fronts, General Staff reports. This comes from Ukrainska Pravda from November 21st, 2022. So let's see what these guys are yapping around here. During November 21st, Russian troops carried out one airstrike, two missile strikes, and more than 10 multiple launch rocket attacks on the positions of Ukrainian troops along the contact line. Are these guys on strike or something? They took vacation early? Christmas vacation? Get to work. General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine reported. Now, details. The attacks in particular occurred in the areas of the settlements of Veterinarne, Strelecha, oh my god, Hliboke, and in Kharkiv Oblast. Let's stay with that. Sometimes these little settlements are so hard to pronounce, and sometimes I'm tired or something and I'm like, it's hard. Anyway, this is in the Kharkiv Oblast. I think that's good enough. Quote, on the Kupiansk and Liman fronts, the enemy is defending itself, firing from tanks, mortars, barrel and rocket artillery in the areas of the settlements of, here we go, Kotliarivka, Tabaivka, Pishchane and Krokmalne, Jesus Christ, in Kharkiv Oblast, Novoselivske, Stelmakivka, and two more in Luhansk Oblast, right? Oblast. And then in Yampolivka, Torske, and another one in Donetsk Oblast. Whenever, as I said, whenever you hear the Ukrainians mentioning the Russians using tanks, that's an offensive from the Russians. When they don't use the word tanks, most likely it's not an offensive. So this is like a key word that I got to learn from reading more articles and getting more information on the same subject. And some say, oh, it's just mortar attacks, tubes attacks, and then when you hear artillery attacks, okay, and then you find out tanks, blah, 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 blah. And then you read three other more articles and you figure out that for those areas where that article mentioned, which is Ukrainska Pravda, mentioned tanks, in other articles you might find it, the Russians offensive is in those areas. Then you say, and that's consistent. I'm about 90% certain that that's how it is. On the Bakhmut and Avdiivka fronts, this is where I say it is the offensive, the enemy focuses its main efforts on conducting offensive operations. On the Novopavlivka front, the enemy is actively defending the captured borders, conducts attacks from tanks, mortars, barrels, and rocket artillery on targets in the area of 21 settlements. Among them are Bakhmut, Bakhmutske, Bilohorivka, Vodiane, Vuhledar, Soledar, Mayorsk, Marinka, Pervomaiske, and in Donetsk Oblast. Now that was fast. That was good. Yes. Now details. On the Zaporozhye front, the Russians are defending themselves and firing from mortars, barrel artillery, and multiple launch rocket systems. No tanks here. Areas of 9 settlements were affected by Russian artillery fire. On the Kryvyi Rih and Kherson fronts, as indicated by the General Staff, the occupiers create a layered defense system, improve fortification equipment and logistics support for advanced units, and don't stop artillery attacks on the positions of Ukrainian troops and settlements on the right bank of the Dnipro River. On November 21st, Ukrainian air forces hit an area of concentration of Russian forces. Rocket forces and artillery of the armed forces of Ukraine in turn hit the control point, the fuel and lubricants storage points, as well as area of concentration of personnel, weapons and military equipment. So, here we go. If they mention, as I said, Russians offensive, you gotta be certain that's much more than just a Russian mild offensive. You know, they use arrows and bows or something. But how they started with 1 airstrike and 2 missiles and that, what the hell was that all about? Anyway, this is the update from the New Voice of Ukraine, not from, from Ukrainska Pravda, I'm sorry. Because, yeah, from Ukrainska Pravda. My next article is going to be from the New Voice of Ukraine, where we find out how minorities' rights are respected in Latvia. Not. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.